Good morning, everybody. How's it going? It's 7:34 a.m. here in San Antonio, Texas. How y'all doing? How's it going? Long time no chat, since like 2 days ago. Anyway, I wanted to show you all the pretty color of the trees. They all have pretty colors, but sometimes it's hard to tell with the lighting and the angle of my camera. Anyway, very pretty green trees. Sometimes when I take the video and I take a photo, it doesn't turn out well, but you know, it's what it is. Anyway, speaking of photography, I've been messing around with the night photography. It's kind of really fun to do. But anyway, yeah, messing around with the night photography. It captures the light, which I guess is slower. Night photography is the opposite of, is it sports photography? I think with sports, it takes the picture really quickly or whatever. I don't think there's a sports mode on this camera, but I remember other cameras. You know, I think it was a handheld camera maybe, not like a phone camera, that had a sports, yeah, I think it was a handheld camera that had a sports option. And I think it just, I guess it has something to do with the lighting, I don't know. Anyway, there's a little photography chat. This house is still for sale. It might be because of this little cables. I don't know. Yep, it stops at that house right there. So, why are people gonna buy a house when they're gonna dig cables or just leave them there on a new sidewalk? I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, there's my photography talk. Let's go, Benjo. And keep in mind, Nuremberg, the mayor of the city of San Antonio, is very happy and pleased with himself about affordable housing. Affordable housing, that's great. Obviously not a concern about affordable vehicles. That's not a concern. Maybe affordable phones, computers. Affordable housing is what he's proud of right now. And I just think that's an interesting concept, especially, is the city of San Antonio building these things? The city of San Antonio is buying this? He never answers those questions. He never, much like a lot of people, some with good intentions, some with bad, because, you know, I get spammed a lot. I'm like, well, that's a pornography account. You want to know how I know? Because the photo and then the bio. Oops. Seems very much pornography related. So Ron Nuremberg, he never talks to me ever. Not one response ever from this Latinx vote. I saw this one. Anyway, so I was wondering about, you know, what's going on. First of all, you know, being in this neighborhood, of course I'm wondering about it. An Audi. First a Mercedes, now an Audi. They must belong to those $1 million homes over there on Dreamland. Oh, which reminds me, I wonder what happened to this tree here. There's a new program at the church across the street. Not the one that they're building on Dreamland, but the one right across the street from my house on Sensonte. A recovery. This is like for addicts or something. They meet at night. I went running last night and I saw the sign there. So, well, I say last night, it was like 6:37 p.m. So maybe last evening, yesterday evening. That's new. We're having a recovery program at the church right there across my house. But yeah, anyway, affordable housing is something I'm always wondering about, especially now, for several reasons. That one being one of them, if I'm being honest with you. So why is Mayor Ron Nirenberg talking about affordable housing? And if you want to talk about affordable housing, I guess he wants to talk about jobs, which again, all things that I very much have a lot of questions about being linked to this NISD school bus route. So are people getting jobs like Week Back and Clown Gabbard? Not because they're most qualified for the job, but because for several other reasons that maybe, just maybe, have to do with corruption. So, do people get to keep their jobs because they don't like me? That's the only qualification they have for their job? Housing affordability, though, is something very serious and something Mayor Ron Nirenberg wants to be very proud of himself for contributing to. So, San Antonio went blue, by the way, in case you're wondering. Surrounding areas did not, though, which I thought was interesting. Anyway, but yeah, affordable housing is important. I think also in Austin too. I'm not sure about housing in Dallas, Fort Worth area. I say those cities because those are like major cities in Texas. So, one second. So yeah. You know, I think I've made jokes about The Big Short. This being the Big Short neighborhood. I'm pretty sure I've made jokes about that. So, anyway, so we have affordable housing. Ron Nirenberg gets to claim that he's promoting affordable housing in San Antonio right now. What exactly that entails, I don't know. There is a partnership, and as far as that partnership, I don't know. I'm sure there's talented journalists who are employed by the San Antonio Express News and others that can get all those facts and figures together, all organized in a readable, understandable article. Anyway, what else is new? We got photography, we got affordable housing. I didn't really have much to talk to y'all about. I said, you know, I don't have much politics to talk about, but apparently I have affordable housing. So, what else? Anything new going on? Obviously there's politics. I think there's a bit of a lull right now as far as issues, which I guess is good. Well, it's lame duck season, I think is the technical term. So Tracy works today. I need to get a new sketchbook because I have like 2 pages left on my sketchbook. Might as well get some canvases. The first I've gotten all year. So hopefully do that today and maybe paint and be artistic and you know, all that. Uh-oh, I jumped on the cat. We still got this trash can here where it should not be. So, what else? Yeah, I don't like Mayor Ron Nirenberg, in case you haven't noticed. Oh, and the Latinx, Latino, I don't know, are people still using the term Latinx now? I don't understand it. So why do you have to do that? If you are familiar, even a little bit, with the Spanish language, if there's a group of people, like, you don't have to have a masculine and feminine descriptor there. It's just kind of like a masculine, kind of like, you know, they say all men are created equal. You know, included in that is women too, right? Especially today in 2024, when we read those words, all men are created equal, that's what we hear. So Fanjo's determined to follow that cat. So as far as this Latinx, you know, I don't know, if you're from South America, how do you feel about it? I figured Latino just meant Central and South America. In my experience, that's what it's meant. So descendants from are from Central and South America. So this term Latinx, I didn't realize it was still being used, and I didn't realize it was being used in the context of that is the correct politically correct way, non-offensive way and term to use. What? Since when? Says who? If you want to talk about a specific country, then talk about the specific country. If you don't want to talk about a specific country, why do you have to say Latinx? I mean, don't we already have enough X's going on? We have SpaceX, we have X. Can we just, you know, forget about this Latinx thing? Do they do that with like Caucasian X? Why are you trying to separate everybody all like that? In the name of what? Knowledge? I don't understand it. One second, I'm gonna get my puppy. And also, I'm sure there's a way the public square takes things, and there's also a way, you know, I take things. This is my perspective, you know? So I can do my best to try and see things from other people's perspective. Of course, I can only see so much, right? But this is my perspective, and I am a social media figure. For whatever reason, you tell me, right? So I can only guess that there's other people out there in the world trying to understand my perspective and opinion. So, I mean, obviously nobody here in this neighborhood, right? Obviously. So, but anyway, yeah, I didn't realize Latinx was still a thing. So yeah, guess I'll just leave it at that. What else? got night photography, we got affordable housing, which again, so well, what are you talking about? You're building all of these homes, giving all of these business permits to build houses on pieces of land, and the houses are built really close together. For example, those Dreamland homes, I think it used to be like 1 or 2 houses, maybe even one house, a lot, and then across the street they're building a church. It used to be 1 house. There is a home, I think, that might be kind of pricey in that area across the street, near Dreamland and Vance Jackson, but they have a lot of land. It's a lot of land. You can barely even see the home when you're passing by on the street because there's so much land. And that's just how things are. That's the price tag and the value. It's here in San Antonio, Texas, and I imagine in other places in Texas, for obvious reasons. It's a big state. I think they say when you're in Texas, you can, if you get in the middle of Texas, you can fly for this long and still be in Texas, and that's really the only state you can that happens with. But anyway. Banjo, let's go. Anyway, side note, if you want to know a little bit about Texas and some cool stuff about Texas, this is honeysuckle, and it makes noise. There's little beads in here, and so when you move it around, it makes noise. You can obviously tell, like, that one's the seeds. These are kind of old. Anyway, and when it dries up, those little seed pods open up and it makes even more of a noise. That's cool. A little plant there. But anyway, a lot of the value in residential property in Texas, quite unlike New York, I would say. At least maybe New York City, maybe not the state of New York, because I know there's like a big old forest over there. But anyway, the residential, oh no, one second, I gotta get my puppy. Okay, so as far as property value, residential, and all of that. Oh, the school bus is here. The school bus here. It is 7:54 a.m. So yeah, as far as property value here in Texas, and I think included in that is San Antonio, Texas, is the amount of land you have. Here we don't have much land in this house. We have, like, that's why I really like the 10415 Ethan Allen house. One reason is because I grew up there. A second reason is because there was so much privacy. We had so much land. It wasn't just this this area and then the back alley. You know, it was just nice to have all that space, and it's something that I think if you're middle class, either a lower middle class or upper middle class, what used to be, talking about affordable housing here. I don't know, Gypsy's gonna bother us. 1 second. Okay, it's gonna be a thing. The Gypsy can hear my voice here. Anyway, I guess I'm just gonna have to go and sit on this little box over here. So me and my mom and my sister, we've been getting a lot of alone time together, talking about chores, mainly talking about Tracy's work schedule. So I'm doing my best to avoid all that. It's absolutely ridiculous. On this NISD school bus route. So I don't really have much to say today, but one reason I want to make a video is because I'm tired of talking about insignificant things that have absolutely zero meaning and value inside this house for whatever reason. Maybe because of Ron Nirenberg's affordable housing, maybe not. I don't know, you tell me. But anyway, this is something that I think you might have seen me say on the live stream when that was going on. Sometime before January 2021, right? Or maybe after. But there's a lot of, like Chicago, an investment firm from Chicago bought Whataburger. And since then, like, these burgers aren't what they used to be. You know, there's things like that happening where investors, I guess, businesses that are not from here, move their business here. And whether that helps the economy or not, I think is an interesting argument, especially now, right? I mean, I won't have that argument in this house, but maybe y'all can have that argument amongst yourselves. About the GT license plate and GTs. You know, the businesses move in, and you know, you can tie it to the election and all that. Businesses move in. There's been a lot of what do you call it? Building houses, building apartments, and that's everywhere in San Antonio. That's downtown, that's here on the north side. I pick up Tracy from the Rim and go home from work, and it's Vance Jackson the street, and it's just complete residential. The houses are packed in like sardines. I said, what possibly can be the value of these houses when how Texas is usually like is a value of a home is also included the amount of space you have, not just the square feet of your house, but the amount of land that you have for yourself, and stuff like that, and obviously trees and stuff. So they're building these, they're cutting down all the trees. They're building these homes right there on UTSA Boulevard in Vance Jackson, where Harriet Duncan used to live. When I was going to UTSA, there's a little apartment complex called like the Palomino Apartments or something like that. Anyway, we used to hang out in that area a little bit, for a lot, I guess. And they've expanded the apartments, a whole apartment complex. Not, from what I can see on the street, not one has a balcony. So that's absolutely unheard of. I mean, maybe if you have an apartment complex where there's a couple studio apartments that don't have a balcony, but it's absolutely ridiculous that an entire apartment complex doesn't have a balcony. What? Does it really cost that much to build a balcony? How much of an expense is it to have a balcony? And why isn't that just an automatic? If you're a developer of an apartment, especially, and it's kind of in a hill country space, okay, there's you know, an open field. It's not like a busy rustling area and they found this little space so they can build those apartments. It's like an open space. So I don't know, as a developer, what is your thought process where you're like, I'm not going to put not one balcony in these apartments? You know, it's stuff like that where I'm just like, I wonder how much it'll cost if that that ends up falling through, and just to like redo that again. How much did that cost, and how much will it cost to fix it, replace it, maybe? And I say that because those apartments that Harriet used to live in and I used to hang out in a lot, those were like, I wouldn't say luxury apartments, but they were like upscale. So it's in an area that's a bit upscale. So on one side of the street in the same area, you have upscale apartments, and then on the other you have an entire apartment complex where there's not one balcony. So I wonder what the taxes are for that. And of course, with all this like eviction moratorium and stuff, you know, of course I've always been like, well, what's going on there? Anyway, I always have this corruption angle to everything. Like I said, right now that's my seat at the table, right? Right? Am I not a reasonable, logical thinking adult? That's where my mindset is. Which again is not a conversation that can be had inside that house right now. That's where we're at. I'm getting punished because, I don't know, because of the election. Because I make the videos and that's enough of me talking to people. My horizons are not getting very expanded right now in this house right now. This is what's happening. But anyway, yeah, a very interesting conversation, I guess, about affordable housing. Today my video is about affordable housing. And so I say, when you say affordable housing, what are you talking about? Are you talking about the banks? Are you talking about rent to own? What are you talking about here? Affordable housing, is there some sort of grant program or something like that? Is there some sort of like, I don't know, you volunteer here or whatever? And oh, and then I think what is it, VITA? They're building like I don't know, they're doing a lot of residential going on right now. And I say right now, I mean 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. So to use the term affordable housing, you know, I have a lot of questions. Is this a program with CPS? What's going on here? Affordable housing. And is this just people's jobs here? The city of San Antonio isn't making any money off of that? I mean, obviously the mayor has a salary and stuff like that, but there's no other perks to that other than a photograph and the already laid out salary. So, yeah, I guess that's my conversation for today. This affordable housing issue. I guess there's a lot of components to it. So if y'all are talking about it, just keep in mind, here in Texas, in San Antonio, Texas, and when you get out of San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas, Fort Worth, this whole land issue is like means even more. So when you have a house and you have a piece of land, your house isn't just like, you know, it's not just like this, especially when you get out of those big cities. So yeah, let me know what you'll think about affordable housing, and maybe any topics that I may have missed on this hot day. And I look forward to looking at those comments and joining that conversation. But until then, I'll talk to you later. Y'all have a good one.